Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the screenwriting step-by-step project, episode number 57. My name is Glenn Gers. I am the brains behind Writing for Screens. I am coming to you here every weekday when I can at 3 p.m. Standard Time to show you my process of writing a pilot TV script from rough idea to finished draft, in the hopes that I can teach you some things along the way about what it is like to go through this process. It's not the only way to do it. It's not maybe the best way to do it. It's my way to do it. I have been a professional screenwriter for 25 years, and what I want to do is just try and take some of the mystery out of it, demystify it, take some of the spooky, scary stuff out of this process. It is a process that you can learn, and that's what I'm here to try and show you. Hello to 99 Precinct and Wolf Powers and Double Naught. It is good to see everybody here. You are welcome to ask me questions during the live stream. I will try and answer them as best I can. But if you are watching this on recorded digital media through the YouTube universe, if you're watching this recorded, not live, and you still want to ask a question, you can do it. You can go to my writingforscreens.com website, where there is a button, Contact Me, at the bottom of pretty much every page. And you can click that button. It will open a little window, which will allow you to write me a message, and I'll get it. And I will do my best to answer all the questions that I can. Some of them I will answer right there and then. Some of them I will hold for here and try and do live. And that's how it works. If for some reason you don't want to do it that way, you can also ask a question or leave a comment in the very comments section of this video or any video on the channel. They all go to me. I get them all. Hello, Foam Heart. Welcome. I hope everyone had a good weekend. It is a Monday here in the live world. And we are going to be getting back into working on this pilot script because we've still got a long way to go. We're only a few scenes into it. It is a long process. It takes a lot of work, and what we're doing right now is just the rough draft. I mean, honestly, the scenes we've written, they're not scenes yet. They're messy. They're just trying to get the raw material down there, because that's what you got to do to start to shape them and figure out what it is exactly that you're trying to do with them. So let us do that. Let us get right into it. We are looking at the outline because I have not looked at this in a while. We've gotten to this scene where Xena calls, and there's a lot in this scene, or a lot about Xena that we need. If you look at this, look at all that stuff. This is what we need to get into this scene, or at least get started with it. And I haven't looked at this in a while, so I'm just reading it now. Because this is when we meet Xena, one of the big three, the three main characters. We got Xena, we got Madeline, and we got Norman. And to tell you the truth, this scene can't go on too long. So much of what we're getting in here is just beginnings of ideas. We won't really play out some of these things until the whole thing, scene after scene, way past the pilot. But I need to know what it is. You need to know who your characters are when you are writing the little bits that become the scenes. So the main thing about this scene, the action of this scene, I'm just getting to where we were, in case you're wondering why I am zooming past this stuff. Here we go. Xena. Right. Okay. So the last thing I wrote was that Xena actually returns, Madeline actually returns Xena's many calls and messages. And that's where we are. Okay. So this is a fun thing. We have not done. Oh, hello. This is Kitschy. Hello, Butte. Greetings to all of you who are watching live. This is something I have not yet shown you. It's a transition. Oops. Here in Final Draft, which is what I am working in, you can do these. The transition is here a possible type of graphic element. But basically, you use these so rarely. I'm going to do intercut. That's it. But basically, now and then, and it really is very rare, you will put something which essentially is a transition between two scenes, and it goes over here on, sorry, screen size, over here on the right side of the page. It's in all caps. It is, this is for something like fade in or fade out, cut to black, white flash, slow dissolve. These are things that you very, very, very rarely should put in, because it's just not your business how they do editing transitions. The only reason to do it is if the actual transition matters to the story, in that if a blackout is important, and honestly, even then, you're probably not going to get them to do the blackout that you say. The one thing that you do really want here is intercut, because what we are going to do is we are going to go to interior George's house at the same time. And now intercut means that Xena, who is in one location, and Madeline, who is in another location, we're going to cut between them, but we don't want to keep putting these scene lines every time one of them talks. So therefore, you just write intercut, and that knows them. Then they decide when they want to cut to one or when they cut to the other, and we know that you're in both spaces at the same time, because the telephone call is one scene with two locations. So hi. Camera is blocking. Huh. Really? The camera was blocking? Oh, my face was blocking it. Okay. Yeah, got it. Got it. I thought Butte wrote camera is blocking, and I thought you meant like blocking, like staging in a play, or even on a film set. Blocking means the staging, the where people and the camera are positioned and when they move. So when you said camera is blocking, I thought you were talking about the blocking, like describing the blocking in the scene. All right, my mistake. I want this to go on a bit. The scene is just gushing. I can't imagine what you're feeling. Such a beautiful soul. Has the police got any yet? Who are you? Okay, so I'm just trying to start to get their voices as we go through this. The thing that we're trying to do here is I've got Xena. Okay, so she wants permission to visit. That is the goal here. The mission here in this scene for Xena is get herself there, get her access to those files. What's her last name? Marano. Okay. I just thought it was like, what I was thinking was, Xena is calling Madeline. And we have to deal with that. How do you? That's a good question. Well, this is fun because what this is going to do, you're thinking, why isn't Glenn talking? What I'm going to do here is, as Xena kind of gushingly explains how, like words spilling out, explains how she found her in a technical way. She will also be sort of revealing her web sleuthy, internet savvy self. That's what you always want, is you want your characters to be giving information, but at the same time also kind of revealing themselves or taking some kind of action. I was doing that little breaking up parts to suggest that she's that her language is not all rational and thought out. She's sort of letting things come out jaggedly and spilling them. He has that picture of you on his bookshelf. And Madeline back in the connection days together. So what I'm doing is just like having Xena do this kind of sleuthy kind of stuff. I'll probably work out the details in even fancier and mention more like search engine, various like photo search kinds of things that you can do, which I will research after. This is actually something I should mention. I can't believe you guys are all watching this and I'm just not even talking to you very well. I apologize for that, but you know, I'm writing. That's what you're watching. Research. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Very often it makes more sense to research after you've sort of roughed out a script, because then you know specifically what you're trying to find out. Sometimes it is great to just go diving into the world of web sleuths or chemistry serial killers or whatever, because you gather up all sorts of ideas and themes and textures. And that's great if you have the time and if it's helpful, if it's not keeping you from working. But really what happens now is I will be able to go back when I am done with this draft, and I will look at this scene and I'll go, oh, I need to research very specifically what Xena could do online to search for Madeline's phone number. And then I'll make up whatever I need to make up, and I'll dig up whatever I need to make up. But the main thing is, don't get too hung up on researching and figuring it out. It's like you don't need to know what bus somebody's going to take to get to one place or another. Just say they get the bus, and later on you can find out if there is such a bus. Because if there isn't, I guarantee you it won't matter to the people making the movie. If they need a bus, they'll get a bus. They'll put it there. And if they need a website that does something, they'll make it up. And actually, I was going to do this later, but I'm going to do this now. Hold on. I want to talk to you a bit about something. I'm getting a lot of comments and messages and stuff about various details of this story, about cell phone issues, about whether or not somebody could or couldn't get somebody's number, a lot about estate planning issues on whether or not the mechanics of how he could get her to be the executor of his will, and really, honestly, overthinking this stuff. This is really important that you know. None of that matters. You can say that a car can drive up a stairway, and you know what? They can't. All that stuff that happens in movies, it doesn't really happen. It doesn't matter. Because your important thing is the story, is the characters, is the experience of the characters in the moment of the story, and how that is bringing us into their emotions and their drama with each other. That is what you are writing. Everything else, you're going to be constantly adjusting to make that work. And then honestly, you're going to write the perfect, realistic, this is the type of diner they have in Arizona, but not in Michigan. And you're going to describe exactly what's on the menu. And it doesn't matter, because if they can't find that diner, or if the other diner is cheaper to rent, they're going to just put it into a different place. It doesn't make any difference. The only thing that matters when you're writing, the main thing, the thing that has to happen, it should be in your mind first and foremost, is the characters and their dynamics in the story. And then you work out the rest. Just like I'm going to work out the research on how exactly she pulls this off. What's important now is that she's exposing her tendency, her web sleuthiness to Madeline as a way to disarm her, which I have said is a part of her character, by being very open, by being very personal. That's Xena's game, and we're watching Xena play her game. And that is the point. It's lovely to discuss the ins and outs on whether or not, someone can or can't, use a certain wireless company to make a certain kind of call. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if caller ID will work or not. What matters is what is the byplay of the people. And that is what I am trying to keep my mind on as I work, because I'm hoping to show you that everything else is going to be constantly changing. If the costume designer has a different vision of something, or has, for whatever reason, product placement or just whatever, then they're going to look different than you think, or the door is going to be in a different place, or it's not going to be, that's not what screenwriting is. Screenwriting is building these characters and these emotions and these moments and the way that they express themselves and how they react to each other. And then you worry about all the other stuff. And just to point out like how much I am right about this, because it's really important. Citizen Kane, one of the greatest motion pictures in history, indisputably. You may not like it, it doesn't matter. It's important and it is monumentally good. The main thing is, it is about, and there's no spoilers here, it is about everyone trying to figure out the meaning of his last word, Rosebud, which he whispers on his deathbed. And when he whispers it on his deathbed in his lonely castle bedroom, he drops the snow globe, and then we see the nurse running in, which means no one heard him say Rosebud. So the entire movie doesn't make any sense. And nobody cares. It doesn't matter. What matters is they say that someone heard him say Rosebud, and we buy it. It doesn't, it's just, all I can say is it doesn't matter. What matters is they say we need to know what Rosebud is, and in the audience we're like, yeah, let's find out what Rosebud is. Cool, that's what you're doing. That's your job. Whew. Okay, so. There's a DH photos. They use it for victim profiling and boy, when I type fast, sometimes things get crazy. Victim profiling and missing persons. So I ran some of the photos of different people named Madeline Morrison. There are about 7 possible. Awesome. Your corporate website because you were at a fundraising picnic and they had. Are you you getting the point here? That website. Oh, come on, that's not spelled correctly. Oh. Okay, so this is the game here is, first of all, Xena is, like I said, the most important thing that I've decided about Xena is she uses confidantness. She uses to disarm. She uses honesty and personal detail. She is always playing people by becoming their best friend or their advisor or asking for advice. She's always playing them. So I wanted to get that right here. And so, but what I did was, see, and this is scene writing. This is the name of the game. What's happening here? Madeline is sitting alone in this place, and she gets these calls from this person she doesn't know, and so she finally calls back because she's sitting there alone, and she's gotten like 9 messages, and And so the flow of the scene is that Xena, of course, is so hyped to talk to her that the scene is just like a flood of Xena talk. And it's all very personal. Like from the second she picks up, she's gushing out her feelings and information. She's not apparently holding anything back. And Madeline is very cautious, like, hello, who is, how do you, why? And Xena is just like, boom, 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 long speech, very gushing, very funny. It will be funny, trust me. And the great thing is at the end of it, having gushed, the thing that she didn't actually ask is, have I got the right person? So I put that at the end of this gushing speech, and that's fun. That's sweet. We like her more, and it allows the scene to move. You know, like now Madeline can take an action. I don't know what Madeline feels like, so I'm just going to say X. Does she say X or ex-wife? You're George's wife. Ex-wife. Yeah, ex-wife. So, yeah. Okay, now, let's see. I want to think of this. Oh, great. I'm so glad. That is really great. That is the point. You are seeing someone force himself to show up at the same time every day and just put some stuff down, because that is the name of the game. And then the cool thing is sometimes you get a beat like this. Like, I like this. This is going to stay. You know, like most of what I've written so far is not going to stay, but this beat is going to work. And partly I've done this long enough to know it. That will play. You can act that. I'm not sure how Madeline's going to play yet, but the scene is starting to work. Okay. Yes, this is a great question. What is the difference between, the difference between this little 1 dash and this little 2 dash is this one's a typo. Now, the bigger question is, should you use 2 of these? Some people don't. Some people just do this. I do it because to me it's more visible. It doesn't look like an accident. It doesn't look like a hyphen. It doesn't look like a minus sign. There's nothing else like this. So I like to do it because you know it is what it is. If you do this, I'm just, actually it doesn't look that bad. It's totally personal preference. The answer is, although probably, we also forgot this one. Probably, there are actual rules about this depending on who you are. There's organizations, Chicago Manual of Style, the Modern Language Association manual. There are official manuals of how to properly type manuscripts. I'm not doing any of that. Plus, nobody in the entertainment industry gives a shit. Everybody does it their own way based on their own taste. And you'd be surprised what you can get away with if you're writing good stuff. If you're writing bad stuff, people start to pick on your punctuation. And if you're writing good stuff, they don't care. They go with it. It's a matter of expression. It's a matter of the flow on the page and the rhythm and a lot of stuff that you're trying to convey when all you can do is type. When you're typing stuff that actors have to play and stuff. Now the question though, between a dash, this is I call this a dash, and an ellipsis. That is what these 3 dots are. An ellipsis is different because a dash is a breaking off. It's an interruption. It's something that is, that's why you can do this. If she's looking around while this is going on, boom, 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 like basically Xena's actually going to be talking over this stage direction. This speech will actually be uninterrupted. We will visually see and that's why I did it this way. We see her looking, and we see the picture. It's actually two shots. That's why there's this. So basically, this is a shot. Madeline looks around, and then this is what she's looking at, which is this photograph. And we're going to go boom, boom while Zena is talking, which is another reason Zena has to talk a lot, because we got a lot of stuff going on here. But so that's what a dash is. A dash is a break, an interruption. If someone's getting cut off when they're speaking, you do a dash. You can do that dash, or you can do this dash. It does not matter. People, anyone who gets really upset over the difference is frankly way too tense for my take. But this, the ellipsis, is different because it is a trailing off. Okay, that's the difference. This means I am not finished, but I'm trailing off. I am letting it hang. And that is an important difference. When she says this, she's not suddenly interrupting herself. She's like, wait a second, I just had a new thought. And that's what this is, new thought time. Now, this thing became very, very, William Goldman, the great 60s, 70s, 80s screenwriter, the man who wrote Adventures in the Screen Trade, which is one of the first good how-to write screenplays book. He became overly dependent on these things. He got to where every fucking paragraph had one. Also in his novels, he wrote some really terrific novels. He wrote The Princess Bride. He wrote Marathon Man. Marathon Man is one of the great thriller novels. He used these increasingly to the point at which he overused them. It was just like a tick. You want to watch out. It is very easy to become dependent on a punctuation trick or any kind of screenwriting trick. I, for a while, got addicted to dashes. And then I started noticing I was just using them way too much. The reason I'm using them here for Zena is because I believe it's in her character to be sort of jumbled and gushing, at least in this moment. So that's why I'm using so many of them. But in general, you use these things, the ellipsis, it's called. I will spell that for you here. E-L-L-I, ellipsis. That's it. Ellipsis. Yeah, I think that's how it's spelled. Let's see. No, it says it's spelled correctly. Anyway, ellipsis. That's what this is technically called, this 3-dot thing. And this thing here is just a dash. Some people call it an M dash or an N dash, and that has to do with the length of the line when you are doing typography in an old-fashioned press, and that's way too much information for any of you to know. This is it. Okay, so I wanted to define how Madeline's responding to all this, because up till now, you don't describe how somebody's feeling or how they're behaving if you don't have to. Like with this line, I believe it's pretty clear. She's wary, she's cautious, she's kind of funny, like I can't believe you're just going on. Likewise this, but I did the small uncomfortable pause. Oops, sorry. Anyway, but here I am doing kindly because I want to suggest that it's a change, an adjustment in her attitude. She's been wary and cautious, but Zena's ploy has worked. Zena has somewhat disarmed Madeline by appearing to be so lost and reckless. Okay, I just want to say, oh, thank you. Yes, I think it's going to be funny. Thank you. You are welcome. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I love when I can actually answer something. So much of what I'm doing is just sort of like I think this is it, but this is stuff which is actually like this is how you use this, and this is what you do. Okay. Ellipsis refers to the jump. Yes, this is true. Ellipsis but interestingly, I believe, and I'm pretty sure about this, the word ellipsis as used to define a jump in time or space or storytelling actually comes from the punctuation point. In other words, the use of this thing, which is to break off, to stop one thing and sort of leap to another. That's why the editing move or the ellipsis in the conversation. So people will say that they got to be pretty literary to say that, but they would say there was like an ellipsis in the conversation, meaning there was this dropping off and a little hole that is, then there's a change. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, Madeline is here. And now, because the point of this scene is Xena has to be winning us over, the audience, the people who are going to meet her have got to believe or like to a certain extent Xena. So I'm trying to make Xena kind of fun and likable. This is smart. Okay, are you okay? By asking, are you okay? She's getting her hooks in. She's opening up the, is there anything I can do? Let me just check the outline because I believe there is a ton of stuff I have to get in here. So let's see what we got there. Okay. Okay, we've seen this already, so we can cut that out. We've seen this. Okay. Yeah, I'll see it. This is the point. There we go. How did she get? Okay, I just answered that. Okay. See, now we get something. I'm sort of skimping on Madeline here. I haven't quite figured out she's gonna say more. She's gonna be more later when I go through other drafts of the scene. But right now, I want to get to this. How did you know, George? How did you know, George? Because, frankly, even just by telephone personality, Xena is clearly young. Xena is clearly lively. Xena is clearly kind of privileged and techie and a lot of other things. So therefore, the question is, how did George, living in this rundown place in western Pennsylvania, being this sort of weird rural guy, talk to this bubbly young woman? How did you know George? And that's when we can get, this is great. Oh, I love this. This is fun. Where did I put this? Corkboard yarn and pins. See, because that's like eventually, like this is good dialogue, if I may say so myself. Xena has this thing she knows. It's the name of a group, and so she doesn't think to say, I'm in an online sleuthing group called, she just says corkboard yarn and pins, just like somebody would say the VFW or, the Rotary Club. Sorry. do I want to say web sleuthing? Online, yeah, for the moment. Web. It's in the forums. Forums of, what was this name? Hold on, I'm trying to get all this stuff in. Outline. Core character group. Dr. Sleuth. There we go. Dr. Oops. Cool. Actually, I'm going to do this because this is fun. This is just here's the deal. So when I do this, the truth is I should capitalize it because she is saying it's the name. It's a proper noun. But I'm going to do this because our experience of hearing it would be that she's simply saying 3 random words, and so I want it to be. I want that sort of experience. I may change that later because it is sort of cheating the reader, but okay. Now, I am typing to a certain extent. Yeah, thanks. Now, you see, this is one of the things that, especially Zena, as a fairly young person, is talking with a bit of a question mark at the end of a sentence, which is actually not a question. She knows what she's talking about. What she doesn't know was whether or not, yeah, and you know, I mean, for the moment, I'm just going to break it out. Now, this is technically terrible writing, but I might leave it because it's kind of fun. Not a whole lot less lost. I mean, obviously that's very conversational, but you get away with this sort of stuff. This is screenwriting. That's an online community group. See, we're going to turn this into an online web sleuthing group because then this can be the online community. It's the group within the community. You got to get all this stuff right because this is Zena's world. This is the world that Zena is bringing to us. That's an online community of home-based non-professional detectives. That's an online community of home-based non-professional detectives. Oh, I like that. See, that's funny. uh, it's clearly like a slogan on the website, or so, a way to like not say a bunch of people trying to solve crimes that they have no business getting involved in. And actually, this is interesting because the truth is I have here in the research folder that there are actually, this is the New Yorker. There's an article in the New Yorker. Yeah. There's the serial killer detector, which is actually what got me started on all this. These are all articles I've pulled that relate to the characters. So I put it in this research folder. But there are a couple serious studies of the power of web sleuthing, and so I want to both make fun of it and respect it because it's not nothing, and there's no, honestly, this is another thing. I truly don't see the point most of the time of trashing your characters. They may be foolish, they may be dumb, they may be doing wrong things, but you gotta love them. You gotta feel some respect of their humanity and respect for what they think they're doing, or you can't write them well, and no one really will care when they watch it. That's my opinion. There's tons of stuff that just makes people into cliches and then mocks them, but I don't think I don't think it's as good writing. I think that the best stuff is somebody may be funny, they may be an utter idiot, but at the same time, they've got a certain charm or they've got a vision, and that's important. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Okay. Yes, this is kitschy. Uptalk. Exactly. Dr. Sleuth. And I haven't decided yet whether I need to actually parenthetical that to suggest that it's that. Anyway, this is that's an online community of home-based entrepreneurs. Solve cold cases or crimes that the authorities don't seem to have a handle on. Aren't getting done. That's not quite the right phrase, but and the reason I put these beats here, because this is a question, like why are you doing that? Like and you could do it like this. Boom. Yeah, I don't know. It's for the moment I'm leaving it the way I had it because it feels like Madeline is not saying anything, and I may actually end up adding some. Yeah, let's get. Web sleuths. A lot of the way that you write is you sort of you're trying out the dialogue in your head. Now, no one will do it like you thought. Most of the time, they're going to do it a different way. That's okay. The fact that you're doing it in a way communicates something. What's actually really fun is the amazing thing that sometimes this is a talk. Sometimes you'll hear it in a certain rhythm, and then an actor will read it, and they'll say it in that rhythm. It's magic, and it happens. It happens, and yet a lot of the time they won't, and it doesn't matter because you can't control that. You can't. One of the big problems with TV writers, in especially back about 10, 20 years ago, many TV writers would literally like have the actor say it exactly, like the emphasis had to be exactly where they heard it in their minds. A lot of writers, the reason that this is TV writers and not movie writers is because movie writers have no power. Movie writers are almost never even on the set. TV writers are usually a representative from the writer's room is on the set and giving notes. And as a result, TV writers can be such a pain in the ass. Greg Hoblet, the director of Fracture, the movie I wrote, he had come from TV. He had worked on some of the greatest TV of the early golden era. He had worked on Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blue and LA Law, and it drove him crazy trying to direct with the writers being basically his bosses, which is not how it is in movies. In movies, the director is the boss and the writers have to shut up. In TV, the writers are the bosses and the directors come and go. And so they would be like, oh, have him say it again, but he has to emphasize blue in There Was a Blue Car. And that would just spoil a lot of good performances because writers often don't understand. The actors got to say it the way they say it. It's a mystical process of relaxing and being. Anyway, so the point is that when you write this dialogue, like why is this a sentence fragment? I don't know, because it feels like that's how she'd say it. I don't understand it. Web sleuths. I mean, I think that she's probably going to say that very like excitedly, but maybe she'll say it very lecturally. I don't know, but I do know that you don't want it to always be a formally proper sentence. It has to be the way someone talks, at least the way they talk in your mind. And with that said, I noticed that I have gone on for an hour, but it's been good. I believe this is a good one. We have seen good process of writing. Yes, George ate the wrong plate of green eggs and ham. He did indeed. And you are very welcome, Ricky. Thank you. And it's not only a solitary field, it's a weird field. It's like half stuff that anyone can do and half stuff that you would never know how it works except if somebody tells you who has been on the inside of it. It's just weird. Anyway, thank you. This has been fun. This is writing. This is what writing is, and we're going to do more of it next time. You are more than welcome. And with that, I am going to find my graphic and say, see ya.